Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best, right? And if you want to talk about what's best, if we had the choice between Apple, Google, or Amazon, multiple choice, you only get one chance at this. Which one do you pick? Do 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 do. You pick Amazon. Why? Because 20 to 25% discounts, right? Check the link in the description. Do 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 do. So to kind of expand on this just a little bit, we really need to bug the heck out of support for anybody who's on iOS and wants to get 25% discounts. Seriously. I'm not just trying to like spam you guys about this. It's like legit. Here's an example. This event, let's say Crimson Pearl costs $1,000, right? Now you have a choice. You can spend 800 or you can spend 1,000. Which one do you pick? And if you want to spend 800, here's what you do. You bug the smack out of support and you tell them, maybe some idle threats, things like this. Like, I'm not addicted to your game. I'm going to stop spending if you don't give me this something, something, something. But yeah, no, bug them, especially if you're VIP, because it just makes sense, right? Just, yeah. All right, enough of that. So we're going to attempt, right? Like me and you, we're going to look at this and we're going to attempt to figure out what the heck is going on with Crimson Pearl. It's going to be a little bit of a longer video. Yeah, I'm just going to show you the data that I have, right? So we're going to go from, let's call it baseline, which is me attacking Rip with his Reap, right? So we're going to use Reap as kind of like a baseline. Now, this is very, very, very unfair comparison because Reap is obviously, in this case, 6 stars, or right, 1 red star, 6 stars, right? And we're going to look at like how Reap versus Crimson Pearl performs in duels. Duels is not PvP. Duels is lacking all sorts of stuff, but it's a data point, right? How many skills fire? What did it kill? If it killed like crazy, maybe the ant is great. If it's just meh, well, it's just meh. So I'm going to go through a couple of times and just kind of show you what's going on. The upside to Reap is that it also has a bit of counterattack, right? So one of the skills will, I forget if it's silence or whatever, it stops the enemy from doing counterattacks. So you see, like in this case, Reap, 8 skills, 126 kills, 126,000 kills, and the troop kills was 17k, right? So we're just going through some of these numbers here, and you have my Reap and his Reap, and it's just a data point, right? Like mine 110, 30, his 5, 88, 23. We're just going to go through it a couple times. Just data, right? I'm not really going to express an opinion. I'm just going to try to share, hey, what are my observations at this point, right? So we can kind of see what Reap is doing. Now, I believe he switched over to the new ant. This still looks like Reap. Still Reap. Hold on. We'll find it. He probably did some baseline hits too. Come on, where is it? Yeah. Okay, here we go. So the one down is where he started to use the new ant. So, right, my Reap, 7, 90, 28. His little guy in the middle went nuts. 11, 108, 29. So this unstarred ant is performing, I would say, ballpark to what a Reap, typically does. Let's get some more data, right? Mine 4 and 458, something, something, something. 8, 108, 24. And what's interesting to me is that my Reap seems to be doing not so great all of a sudden. Why that is, nobody knows. Oh, now my Reap is basically having a good old time. 7, 115, 37k. So the 37k troop kills is actually quite good. Probably some random shit from the insect or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, he did a pretty darn good job. And then on the opposite side of it, Crimson Pearl, 7, 59, and 21. Not a very good job. And what do we got? another 750. So you'll see that it's basically gambling shit, right? Because if it wasn't gambling, if it was super stable, what would happen? It'd be really consistent results. 110,000 kills, 110,000 kills, 110,000 kills, 110,000 kills. Let's hit rip a few more times and see what are the results looking like. Again, this isn't this isn't a fair comparison. We're apples and oranges here. Like, by all means, don't use this as the end all for is this ant any good. It's a data point, and the data point is suggesting that like, okay, my Reap did poo poo there, and his Crimson Pearl went nuts. So it looks like it's going to be like on or off, right? Like when that skill triggers whatever it's doing, it looks like it's going to go, there's a pretty healthy range there. And yeah, we're just going to keep hitting. Do, 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 do. I mean, for an unstarred ant, I think my impression is for an unstarred ant, it's very good, right? Like that's kind of like it's holding its own against a 7-star Reap. If we're just talking, comparison for kills and stuff like that, 10 skills, 83k kills, 28, and I mean, look at how that compares to, what my Reap did, right? That's a substantial amount in Reap. And so if you're just getting started and you're trying to build up a line of ants, I'd say it's a pretty reasonable way to start, right? Because I mean, it's performing at least as good as Reap, it seems. So we just keep on going. Let's see. And this is, being a shooter. I'm going to show you a Guardian data point here in a minute, and just kind of, I don't know, let you come to your own conclusion. Because it's really kind of like 3 ants. It's not really one universal ant this time. It's really going to change behavior pretty substantially, between, if you're using as Guardian, Carrier, or Shooter. So, yeah, I mean, like, my opinion on Shooter may or may not be good. My opinion on Carrier, it's going to vary. This is all Shooter data. So, maybe for Carrier, it's a lot more interesting to you. I don't know. We'll touch on what's interesting here in a minute, right? Like, so my Reap, poop job, lady did okay, and skills 9, 109. I mean, so it's not super consistent, but it's not super bad either. I mean, there's ants that are really gambling, and super inconsistent, and just pisses me off to no end. Mostly Reap, right? So we're comparing against one of the most unstable ants, and so yeah, I would say that this is ballpark to a 7-star Reap, give or take, offensively. It doesn't have some of the silence and things like that, so some of that's missing. But I mean, all things considered, I'm not unhappy with what I see. Let's look at another data point. So Max decided to basically come attack us and something like that, but let's turn it into a teachable moment. Let's see. What did I miss it? Yeah, okay, here we go. I had missed it. So what happens when you use new Mr. Ant as Guardian in the middle for defense? And he had a whole bunch of skills, right? Like, the skills went nuts. Not too many kills, right? Like, so the kills, not too hot there. The healing, all things considered, I mean, if you look at how much other ants heal, like PN, you see at the top, his healing is basically just a scam, right? But the healing actually is pretty decent in this case, because a lot of ants survived and it healed just a whole bunch. Now, what's the implication of that? The implication of that is if you garrison this ant, if you garrisoned 3 strong healer ants, that garrison is going to take a long time to remove if there's trash hitting it, right? So like, if there's trash hitting it, they're just going to bounce off. You're just going to keep healing, and you're going to be able to garrison for a long time. Now, that's assuming that you're stronger and they're bouncing off. If you're not bouncing off, like whatever. I really can't comment as to, anything beyond that. But in the case where you have trash just hitting you and you just want to, heal and just keep that garrison, this is pretty strong option. I don't know if it's strong offensively. It looks pretty, I would say, more tanky. I don't know if I'd run this in the back or in the front. I don't know what I would do with this. But yeah, it's just an interesting data point. That's all I can say at this point. Carrier, not tested. Maybe we do a part 2 if you guys want to. If you really want a part 2 with carrier testing, I know I'm probably going to get this stupid ant. Me and Rip will do testing in a couple days. But you have to drop a comment below, right? And you have to subscribe or something. That's what you have to do. If you don't do it, there won't be part 2. I don't know, whatever. So, yeah. I hope it helps you guys. Anecdotally, Rip was hitting someone who is difficult for him to beat before. And this person was still difficult to beat with the new ant. So the new ant is definitely not a revolution. If you skipped it and you just upgraded Reap, you're probably okay. Right? Like, I don't see any giant sense of urgency to get this ant. I think if you are looking at, if you're new to the game and it's maybe an ant that you have an option to and you haven't built up a bunch of other stuff, yeah, go for it. But it's not gonna be a revolution. It's I don't know. I'm gonna guess here, probably B or A rank. I don't know if I would consider this S rank. S rank to me is like gold and crystal, and then like that's basically the only S rank ant that I see. Everything else is a tier below. Yeah, I know you guys are gonna blast me in the comments on a Wise Berserker or Gravedigger or shit like that. No, those need synergy. You need the other season ants for them to actually be good, and it takes up a spot. And I don't know, different conversation, different time. But yeah, I don't know. This is the data that I have for you guys. Buy it or not, I don't know. Really up to you. If you have like 49 ants already, and you feel like skipping it, yeah, who cares? It's not going to make or break anything. There's also one last closing point, and then I'll go, besides talking about Amazon coins. And that's today it might be good, right? So like today baseline equals 7-star Reap. But in 2 or 3 months, maybe it sucks. They'll shadow nerf it. They do the shit like this, right? Like, so I really think that MR has been shadow nerfed. And yeah, so I don't know if I can say that getting it is a good idea, because in a couple of months, maybe they felt it was too strong. They just shadow nerf it. That's what we got today. But I love you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. That's it. Bye-bye for now.